Hello and welcome to News Update. I'm Moses Humphrey. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, has arrested 21 persons, including louts, illegal foreign exchange dealers, hawkers, and scavengers at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos. The Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, FAN, Mr. Abdullahi Yakubu Funtua, disclosed this in a statement yesterday in Lagos. Yakubu Funtua mentioned that the suspect had been handed over to the police for further action. According to him, the arrest is part of FAN's efforts to sanitize the airport environment and rid it of louts and others engaged in illegitimate activities. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, disclosed that its members will embark on a peaceful protest from Wednesday, August 9, if the federal government doesn't meet its demands. The resident doctors declared its intention to stage a protest in a circular recently. The circular was addressed to the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Health, Olufunsho Adibi. National Youth Service Corps NYSC has debunked reports alleging that corps members would be deployed to Niger Republic by the federal government to fight for the restoration of the country's democracy. The Director NYSC Press and Public Relations, Eddie Megwa, disclosed this in a press statement. The scheme described the news as fake. He urged the general public, especially corps members, prospective corps members, and their parents to disregard the story in its entirety. The Lagos State Governor has approved the immediate and indefinite suspension of the Lagos State Infrastructure and Asset Management Agency, LASIAMA, boss, Adenike Adekanbi, for not properly overseeing the activities of the agency and managing the facility, following the death of a medical doctor, Vuare Diaso, inside an elevator at the Lagos General Hospital, Odon. Aside from Adekanbi, the governor also ordered that the facility managers be sacked and the firm blacklisted immediately. Also, the governor approved that the installation and maintenance contractors be investigated by the Lagos Police Command and prosecuted if they were found culpable. The police has been given directives by the governor to also investigate anyone else that might have been found to be negligent in his duty in the hospital. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Strategy, Olumide Shogunle, disclosed this through a statement released yesterday and made available to newsmen. President Bola Tinubu played host to governors of states that share boundaries with Niger Republic. It was gathered that the meeting, which held at the State House, Abuja, was part of consultations by the president on the situation in Niger. The governors present were Ahmed Aliyu of Sokoto State, Umar Namadi of Jigawa State, May Malambuni of Yobe State, Idris Nasir of Kebbi State, and Dr. Diko Rada of Katsina State. The northern elites have kicked against the planned onslaught against the military junta in Niger, while citing the likely consequence of such actions on Nigeria. Tinubu, who doubles as chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, had issued a 7-day ultimatum to the military junta in Niger Republic to restore democracy by returning power to Mohamed Bazoum. Now, this led to quite a number of sanctions, part of which resulted in the closure of borders with Niger, including an indefinite suspension of flight activities. The president had written to the leadership of the National Assembly to approve the deployment of military personnel to the troubled Niger. The Senate, however, turned down the request while it asked Tinubu and other leaders of the region to tread with caution in addressing the political situation. Moving on to entertainment now, the Big Brother All Stars edition has held its first eviction show. One of the housemates, Princess, was evicted from the show by a jury comprising former housemates. Now, during the live show, Ebuka Obi Uchendu, the show's host, announced 3 former Big Brother Niger housemates as members of the jury. for the All-Stars edition. They are Bisola, Dorothy, and Mike. Last week, Biggie had announced a new twist during the Sunday's Fake Eviction show, announcing that a judge or jury to be introduced in the All-Stars edition will determine who will be evicted every Sunday. The judges will be sent an envelope with the names of the bottom two housemates, and they will individually select who they want to leave the show. The jury voted out Princess during the live show. Therefore, she is the first housemate to be evicted from the show. In business, the federal government has approved the issuance of two power generation licenses with a combined capacity of 723 megawatts. It said this would raise the country's electricity output by over 700 megawatts when the power projects were completed. Power sector operators, in conjunction with the federal government, had been making efforts to increase Nigeria's power generation and its supply after the successor electricity generation and distribution arms of the sector were unbundled and privatized in November 2013. Since then, Nigeria's power generation had been hovering between 3,500 megawatts and 5,000 megawatts, a figure which operators and experts described as too low for a population of over 200 million people. To boost power supply in Nigeria, the government and investors had been constructing power plants, while the NERC has been issuing licenses to investors to generate electricity. Recall that President Bola Tinubu on Friday carried out the presidential groundbreaking for the construction of a 350 megawatts power plant in Abuja, being the first phase of the Gwagwalada Integrated Power Project. In foreign news, at least 30 persons have been killed and 100 injured when a train derailed in South Pakistan. Several carriages of the Hazara Express overturned near Sahara Railway Station in Nawabshah, about 171 miles from the largest city, Karachi. Injured passengers were moved to nearby hospitals, while the rescue teams are trying to free people from the twisted wreckage. Railway Minister Saad Rafiq said initial investigations showed the train was traveling at normal speed and they were trying to establish what led to the derailment. A railway spokesperson in Karachi said that at least 8 carriages went off the track. Some people were still trapped inside a train carriage. And that's the news update on VOP TV. We'd like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It is Voice of the People TV, and on other social media channels, we are at VOP TV Live. I'm Moses Humphrey. Good morning.